Nothing like starting March with a great Dr. Seuss movie on Dr. Seuss's birthday. Hey, what's up guys? I'm John, aka Mothman Jones, and today I'll be reviewing the Lorax. So we actually have a pretty cool cast for the Lorax. We got Zac Efron, Taylor Swift, Andy Bernard, Ed Helms, the In the Face from The Hangover guy, and Betty White. So if you haven't read the book or watched the 24-minute cartoon from about 40 years ago, the movie's basically an environmental story about the forest and the trees and about environment, and nature is the best and that nature is first before everything else. Here's the weird thing. The story that's from Dr. Seuss's book is actually told in flashbacks. The main story, however, comes from Zac Efron's character, who lives in the present time where there's no trees, and he has this really big crush on a girl who lives near him, aka Taylor Swift. And she's into trees and she really wants to see a tree. She basically tells Zac Efron's character that if a boy were to plant a tree for her, she would marry them on the spot. This gives the boy's character a big erection and forces him to actually go out of town, which nobody would ever do, into the woods to meet the Onceler, played by Ed Helms. What I do have to say is a lot of the movie felt like filler. But when you have a kids movie, it's, especially nowadays, it's really hard to make a movie without having filler, so filler is required in a way. But the filler wasn't bad, just that filler is filler and it's never a good thing. Others have said, and I kind of agree, the story that takes place in the present with the boy and the girl that he has a crush on, I didn't like as much as the actual Lorax story. And I really wish we saw more of the Lorax story, but what they showed was basically what they had in the book, so I can't complain there. I'm just going to get it out right now. I love this movie. Voice acting, all around, was great. For the girl character, anybody could have played that role, but surprisingly I liked Taylor Swift for what she had, but she never sang. Taylor Swift, huge country artist, musical, Dr. Seuss film. Put it together. Come on. Two people I really dug were Ed Helms as the Onceler and Danny DeVito as the Lorax. Danny DeVito as the Lorax, heard it 1,000 times everywhere else, but I'm going to state it too. Perfect casting for the Lorax. Just spot on.
I speak for the trees.
Ed Helms, aka Andy Bernard from The Office, was the Onceler in this film. And in the cartoon, which I will link below so you can watch it in case you want to see this movie or you want to compare, the Onceler is never shown in the movie, and he's basically just this guy who was corrupted by greed and by his Thneed. They call Thneed. Thneed. It's like from the tree. That's what he called his company. In the movie, they give you more backstory and they actually make you feel sympathetic for his character. If you watch The Office, you know Andy Bernard. Like, you know, just like singing just for the hell of singing. And Ed Helms has a great singing voice, if you haven't heard. And I couldn't help but think about Andy Bernard while watching this movie when he was singing. And I think I had more fun hearing Ed Helms sing than I should have. But Ed Helms was great in his singing, and I wouldn't doubt if it was him singing because he is a great singer. The animation is done by a company that branched off of DreamWorks that made Despicable Me, called Illumination Studios, I believe. And you could definitely see the similarity between Despicable Me and this film. But this has a very distinct Dr. Seuss look, and the animation just overall, fantastic, awesome. It was so visually orgasmic. That was kind of a weird word to use, but it was orgasmic. It was just awesome to watch. The actual Lorax cartoon, very depressing. If you watch it, very depressing. And the ending, while optimistic, is still depressing and it doesn't resolve anything. This film goes to those dark places. It's not afraid to go to these dark places, but it still resolves everything at the end and it makes you feel good about yourself and about life. The Lorax doesn't have great screen time, but when he is on screen, he does have a big impact. And I think that's the point, because it's not about the Lorax, really. It's about the bigger picture and about nature and how we should care for it. And he is a speaker of the trees, of course. And I think too much of the Lorax would have ruined it. So I'm actually happy he wasn't in the movie that much. By the time we got to the very ending, the very last scene, which involves the Onceler, I'm not going to say anything else. I don't know, I got emotional and choked up. I guess this movie hit the right chord for me, like it really strung hard. I don't know, it was just really nice and fulfilling to watch how this all wrapped up. Overall, I think this was a really great family film. Going from a kid's perspective, kids are going to love this movie. Love it. And to the parents out there, you're not going to be bored watching this movie. It's actually very entertaining, and there are a couple of jokes that you're probably going to really enjoy. And the message is really strong, so that also helps too. So I'm going to surprise the people out there and give the highest rating I've given to a movie as a movie critic on YouTube so far. 4 out of 5 stars. Just the Lorax, man. I didn't think I would like this movie that much, but I walked out of it loving it. So again, I'm going to link the Lorax-Movie from 1972 down below, so if you want to watch it. You can subscribe to my channel above for future videos, or you could follow or like me on Facebook or Twitter, or you can do all 3. That would be nice too. So what do you think of the Lorax? Tell me what you think, movie, cartoon, book, in the comments below. Also, what's your favorite Dr. Seuss book or movie, or both if you want to? My favorite movie, actually right now, is the Lorax. And book, probably Cat in the Hat. Once again, I'm Mothman Jones. See you on the next review.